Hey, it's Drybear. Today we're going to cover one of the most requested videos that I've had over the last couple days since the launch of Path of Exile 2, and that is the idea of stash tabs, which ones to get, what to expect, and how they work. And we're going to do this from the bottom up so anyone who's just starting Path of Exile 2 can get into this and understand it very easily. So when you go into game, based on the town area you are in, you will have two different options for stashes, a stash and a guild stash. The guild stash is shared across your guild mates, but it does require you to unlock or purchase a stash, a guild stash tab from the microtransaction store. And that's probably what a lot of people are going to want to spend their points on, because if you go to the microtransaction store and you go to tabs, there's a whole bunch of stash tab options in here that are all very useful for different things. And I think because you had to pay to get into the early access, you were given 300 or more points depending on what pack you got. I think stash tabs is by far the most important thing to get if you don't have any for your account. So since we're on the topic, the guild stash tab, you just have to be in a guild. You can either make a guild or join a guild, and then from that point, you go to the microtransaction store. You can transfer any of your current points over into guild points. Then you can use those guild points to buy guild stash tabs, which function very similarly to your normal tabs, they just go in the guild stash. But the next question is the most important question of all of these stash tabs. Which ones are the best to get? What do they do? And why are they important? So we'll start walking through each of them and what you'll see. Now, your normal stash tabs will look like this. You will be granted, I think, 4 of these by default as part of a normal free account when the game is free, and also just getting into early access in general. And you can put anything you want. You can put currency in here, any kind of item, any kind of thing that drops in the world. And I think if you're someone who's played a lot of ARPGs, MMOs, or survival games, you get very used to organizing your gear in a very open and unfiltered storage area. As you can see here, I kind of just generally by nature, just because I've played so many games, I start to put stuff together. However, there are other stash tab options that make life infinitely easier that you have available to you. Now, I get asked this question basically every single day. What should I do with my 300 points that I got for buying into the early access, right? The default level, if you didn't get given a key for free, was 300 points as part of that pack. And this would be my recommendation. It would be a gem stash tab, a currency stash tab, and a premium quad stash tab, which totals you 265 points. So if you bought into the early access with your 300 points, you'll be able to get this. And don't worry, all of these stash tabs are unlocked forever. You'll be able to use them for the rest of the lifetime of the game, and they will serve you very well, trust me. Starting with the currency tab, which I think is the most important tab to get in general. So you will get currency items like orbs and things that can modify, and you'll be able to pick those items up and put them in your stash. Like chaos orbs or divine orbs, you'll pick those up and you can store them in your stash, and just like I have done up here, you can start organizing them naturally with that as well. However, when you start getting specialized tabs, they will automatically grab items that you send into your stash in general. So you'll notice that if I take currency items when I have a currency tab active, if I try to send them to this, they won't go in here. They'll automatically go to the currency tab, which is a dedicated location for it, which looks like this. So it has every currency item in the entire game organized by function and placement, and they even have a couple extra lines here that anything can go into if you really wanted to. But if you automatically send into the stash, it'll go to its proper place. Like everything is in its place and everything has a place. There's a place for everything in this sort of thing. So you can actually see how many of these there are, which is excellent. This is awesome because it automatically sorts it for you. So if you're, say you have like a jeweler's orb and some blacksmiths or whatever, you go to your stash and you just dump all of your currency items, they will automatically sort in the currency tab you unlock to have everything here. And what's even better than that is that since these currency items are also currency for buying, so if you have, someone you're buying from someone that wants 1 exalt, you can hold shift on PC, pick up an exalt, you know exactly where it is, it's in the same spot every time. You can grab this and trade them to it, get your item and you're good to go. But what's even better than that is there is a crafting spot inside of the currency tab as well. So you see this centerpiece, this is for items that you might want to craft. You can then pick up your item, put it in here, and now it's central around all of the crafting items that you might want to play around with. You want to add sockets to it with an artificer's orb. You want to raise the rarity of it. You want to raise the quality of it. You want to re-roll the stats on it. You can just pick these up and slam them on the item over and over, and it's all in the central screen, so it's all organized and clean. So that is the currency stash tab, which I recommend everyone getting. It makes your life so much easier when you have one. The one that I would recommend getting is pretty much new to Path of Exile 2 is a gem stash tab. So again, you're going to get a lot of gems in Path of Exile 2. You'll get these uncut gems of different types, spirit gems, support gems, skill gems. They all have different levels on them. When you cut them, they'll turn into abilities as well. So you can pick these up, you put them down, you're going to have a whole bunch of these as well. And if you wanted to, you could just organize these by title or by type or by ability, whatever. However, you have the option to unlock a gem tab, which is the one I recommend getting. So if we take these out of our stash, and again, just like the currency, if we send these, and I currently have a gem tab active, you'll notice that they don't go in this active one, they go to the beautiful, wonderful gem tab. So what this does is it keeps all of your active gems down at the bottom, like filtered down to the bottom. It can hold up to 500 gems total. You can type in the name of something if you really want to see what's in here or what is like available. So if you wanted to have like a specific support gem, you can search for it automatically. And it also sorts by gem type and by gem level for the uncut. So if you're looking for a level 11 spirit gem, here you go. If you're looking for a level 12 uncut skill gem, there you go. And if you're looking for support gems, they're all here and you can cut from it directly. It's just a very clean, easy way to organize this. And you're going to get so many gems across multiple characters of different levels. It's nice to be able to sort these. And it also has a like a tag system for sorting at the top. So you can turn off all skill and only look at skill options for gems. Only look at support gems. Only look at uncut gems. So the normal gems at the down bottom are there. Only look at like aura gems. So like if it's for a specific like spirit aura, you can just look at that for persistent buff and turn that on and off. It just makes life so much easier. You come back to your stash and you have like currency items and you have gems and you change your character up a little bit. You grab some of these. You're like, okay, you go to your stash tab. It doesn't matter what tab you're on. You go bing, 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 bing. Now all of a sudden your currency items are where they're supposed to be. Your gems are where they're supposed to be and automatically sorted and organized, and everything's clean and easy. And you have this tab for the rest of your time with Path of Exile 2. Now the last tab I recommend getting for a first time player is the premium quad tab, which looks like this. If you've never used a quad tab before, this is a normal tab. You'll notice that this is how big the item is on the normal tab. If I go to a quad tab, you'll notice that it is much smaller. And that's because if we switch between these, you can see that it is 4 times the size. There are 4 places in place of for every 1 on the normal one. So you can actually see that showing up for you in part of the stash. So it's a great place for storage, but the reason I recommend getting a premium tab, as you can see by this green moniker here, premium tabs versus regular tabs. So if we go to the shop, we go to stash tabs, you can see that there is a premium stash tab and there's a regular stash tab. The difference in the premium tabs is they can be made public and you can use it as a storefront for selling items to other players and making currency or money, right? So any of them, like you can put these inside of a premium stash tab, which has this green border, and then you can right click on it, set a price, hit OK, and it will automatically, as long as your account is logged in and linked up, it'll automatically appear on the trading website. So if you go to pathofexile.com/trade2 for Path of Exile 2, so you see these items here, like if you search for items, all of these items that are showing up as being registered are items that someone has put into a premium task tab and put a price on. They will automatically and instantly be listed on the overall trade website, and you can also directly whisper them. So all you have to do is hit direct whisper. If your game is open at the time, it'll automatically whisper them. They can invite you to a party, you can trade, get the currency, and whatever else. So having at least one premium tab allows you to sell items on a character that's not solo self-found, and you can make money that way. You can actually make a ton of currency. So there's things that you don't want. People buy anything. You can sell skill gems on here. You can sell jewels, gear, weapons, and it also has like a crazy search function where you can say like, hey, I want, like I'm level 26, so minimum or maximum level 26, and I want a weapon that has at least 100 damage per second. So I want like a damage upgrade for me that has any ever bits there. And you can bring it up and say, okay, here's a club. It has this much DPS. yes, and they just want half an Exalt orb for this, which will be about 2 Chaos Orbs by conversion, so you can grab that, buy it off, and you're ready to go. But if you find an item that's really good, like I found this chest piece that has 33 Spirit on it, or you have something that just has really good damage on it, you can slap this on the market, sell it, and make some currency that you could then use to buy other items if you're on a non-solo self-bound character. So you get dual function by buying a premium quad tab. Not only do you have excellent storage with very vast area, but it also serves as your storefront for selling items that you can use to toss stuff up on the trade website and make money for it. As long as it's up here and it has a price, it's going, someone can message you, and you can make money that way. So those are the 3 tabs I would recommend getting. You can get all 3 of them for the 300 points you got for buying into early access, but they're not the only tabs that are available for you. So let's quickly run through the other options that are available for you that will have value depending on what you look for. There are, just like the currency and gem tabs, other permanently filtered tabs that are useful for other things. One of them is the Flask Stash tab, which I don't think is all that useful in this game because you don't have as many flasks in this game as you do with like in other games, like PoE 1 would have tons of other flasks. But again, just like this, if you wanted to put flasks in your stash, they show up here, and then when you have it can hold up to 500 flasks specifically, and you can turn these on or off. When you're leveling, it doesn't really matter because you're only going to be using whichever one is the most powerful. But when you get to end game and you want different flasks that have different buffs and different affixes on them, you're going to want to have a bunch of them in here to choose from, and you can filter between them if you like. Now, we already talked about the stash tabs, premium stash tabs in the quad version, but there's also an essence tab. So as you go through the world, you will run into these enemies locked in stone. They're frozen in these jagged pieces of crystal, and when you open them up and defeat them, you will get some essences from them. This allows you to modify crafted items, and is just like your currency items. You can do things like upgrade a normal to magic with mana, upgrade a normal to magic with life, and you can kind of control and dictate how your crafting goes depending on how many essences you have. And again, just like the other currencies, if you have an essence tab and you enter it in, it'll have a place for itself, it'll stack up and get a whole bunch from it, and it can store all of your essences in one place, which is a nice convenient option. But if you didn't want, if you just got like the regular pack, you could just take these essences, put them in a normal area, and organize them naturally if you didn't want to go for the extra tab. Just like that is the Delirium Stash tab, which is really only an endgame activity. It's one of your endgame pillar activities, is doing Delirium. You'll get it on the Atlas overall, and just like the Essence tab and everything else, you will be able to sort all of your Delirium drops and items through this if you do have a Delirium tab. And lastly is, again, not a necessary stash tab, but it is nice to have, the Unique Collection tab. This tab serves as a hub for unique items. You can put unique items in there and view them. It will tell you what percentage of the uniques in the game that you currently have. So I have like my unique boots here. If I were to put them in, it would automatically go into its proper location in the unique tab. And you can see that my boots collection has gone up by 4% because I now have 4% of all uniques in the game. And you can just kind of come here. When you have a very large collection, it's a cool little display case for all your uniques. What's nice is you can actually change the size of this. You can like filter it and show that. You can type and find it. You can have the ones that just the ones you have owned as shown overall in this here. So you can actually see the difference. You can filter by slot. You can pull them out, put them in. And it's not really necessary because you can very easily just take your uniques and put it in your new quad tab and store them that way. But it is kind of just a cool thing to have if you wanted to have a place to store all your uniques in one spot. And as an added bonus, it does count as a premium tab, which means you can sell uniques from this. So if you set one of these things to a public tab, you can then come to the item and set a price for it and put it on trade automatically if you wanted to just sell your uniques directly. And as you get more, I mean, there's always going to be some options for getting more tabs. A cool thing you can do with premium tabs, and wondering why I have multiple quad tabs and then multiple regular tabs here, is that what you can do is not only can you price the items individually on the item itself, but you can also price the entire tab. So I can come to this tab, I can make it public, and I can say either items are individually priced, or everything that I place in this tab, put it up for 1 orb of transmutation, and I can hit OK, which means that every single item, as soon as I place it in this tab, is put on the auction house or put on the trade market for exactly the price that I have. So you can have one for 1 Chaos Orb, one for 1 Exalt, one for 2 Regals, and then as you generally get items that fit those prices, you can just throw them in there and people will find them on the trade website, and you'll be making cash as you go along and play. And the last thing I'll say is that they do stash tab sales pretty much once a month regularly. It's very common for them to do it. So you'll find in the sales tab every month, there probably will be a sale this weekend for stash tabs. And there also is a bundle right now for stash tabs. It currently is 525 points worth of tabs. It has Delirium, Flask, Essence, Unique, Premium Quad, Gem, and Currency, and it's a total price of 525, but it's on sale for 435 if you wanted to save some extra points on that. So just be on the lookout for Stash Tab bundles or Stash Tab sales, as they do happen regularly. And that's what I got for Stash Tabs. Let me know what else we should cover next down below. If you found value in today's video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people, and don't forget to check out my other channels for other content and other stuff and other things.